ป๊อกกี้ป๊อกกี้ป๊อกกี้ป๊อกกี้ป๊อกกี้
สวัสดีค่ะตอนนี้เรามาอยู่กันที่ MUIC ป่ะงั้นเราเข้าไปข้างในกันเลยดีกว่าค่ะตอนนี้นะฮะเราอยู่กันที่ตึก MUIC แล้วตอนนี้เราก็มีเด็กนักเรียนหลายคนเลยเดี๋ยวเราจะไปเริ่มสัมภาษณ์กับเด็กคนนั้นก่อนแล้วกันนะคะโอเค Hello excuse me okay, I would like you to ask you something yeah thanks and okay first thing when you see this which band comes to your mind
Pocky
oh yes and when talking about gap what thing that you think about it
Gap
Yeah.
clothes and snacks
snack like this
yes
oh yes and when if snack like this so I have the product when you see this product oh where did you see this
wait is it still exist like this is like one of my childhood memory like it's like 2 to 3 years ago yeah
to your childhood
yeah like I usually saw it like normal grocery store like the local shop yeah I didn't see much in like modern shops like 7-Eleven or yeah
oh yeah thank you very much yeah แล้วตอนนี้เราก็กลับมาอยู่กันที่ตึก MUIC คราวนี้เดี๋ยวเราจะหาคนสัมภาษณ์คนต่อไปนะคะมาเรามาเริ่มจากกลุ่มนู้นเลยดีกว่าเห็นคนสัมภาษณ์เยอะไปกันสวัสดีค่ะสวัสดีค่ะขอสัมภาษณ์นิดนึงได้ไหมคะ
ก็ได้ค่ะว่างอยู่
โอเคงั้นเริ่มจากคำถามแรกคุณเวลาคุณเห็นขนมแท่งเนี้ยคุณนึกถึงแบรนด์อะไรเป็นลำดับแรกคะ
ป๊อกกี้ค่ะ
ป๊อกกี้เอางี้งั้นเวลาเราเมื่อเราพูดถึงแก๊ปเนี่ยคุณคิดถึงสิ่งอะไรเวลาพูดถึงแก๊ป
ถ้าอยากแกปเยียเลย
แก๊ปเยียแก๊ปเยียเอางี้เราตอนนี้เราไม่ได้มาถามเรื่องแก๊ปเยียนะตอนนี้เราจะให้คุณมาดูโปรดักต์นี้คุณเคยเจอโปรดักต์นี้ที่ไหนบ้างคะ
ที่นี่อะค่ะ
ครั้งแรกใช่ไหมคะอ๋อโอเคค่ะขอบคุณมากค่ะขอบคุณค่ะเดี๋ยวเราก็ไปหาคนสัมภาษณ์คนต่อไปกันดีกว่าโอเคเวลาคุณเห็นขนมชิ้นนี้คุณนึกถึงแบรนด์อะไรคะ
ป๊อกกี้ครับ
ป๊อกกี้เอางี้เวลาเราพูดถึงชื่อแก๊ปคุณจะนึกถึงสิ่งใดเป็นสิ่งแรกคะ
เสื้อผ้าแบบนี้
อ๋อแบรนด์เสื้อผ้าอะไรประมาณนี้งั้นเดี๋ยวเราจะโชว์นี้แล้วถ้าเกิดเป็นขนมยี่ห้อนี้คุณเคยเจอที่ไหนบ้าง
ตามห้างอะครับเจอไม่ค่อยบ่อยไม่ค่อยเดินเท่าไหร่ครับ
ไม่ค่อยเจอคือตามห้างนี่แบบห้างเป็นห้างมีชื่อเสียงดังไหมคะดังไหมหรือว่าเป็นห้างแบบธรรมดา
ชื่อเสียงก็มีชื่อเสียงอะ
อ๋อโอเคเราไปเริ่มที่คนต่อไปกันเลยดีกว่าสวัสดีค่ะขอสัมภาษณ์อะไรนิดนึงได้ไหมคะโอเคเวลาเราชูอันนี้คุณเห็นแบรนด์คุณเห็นคนแบบนี้คุณนึกถึงแบรนด์ใดเป็นแบรนด์แรก
ป๊อกกี้
งั้นเวลาเราพูดถึงแก๊ปเนี่ยคุณนึกถึงสิ่งอะไร
ร้านขายเสื้อผ้าว่าแบรนด์อะไรเงี้ยแบรนด์เสื้อผ้า
อ๋อแบรนด์เสื้อผ้าอันนี้เดี๋ยวเราจะโชว์สินค้าแก๊ปที่มีมานานแล้วให้คุณดูเวลาคุณเห็นสินค้าโปรดักต์เนี้ยคุณเคยเห็นที่ไหนมาบ้างอะ
เคยตอนเด็กๆเขาจะแจกเวลาแบบเล่นเกมอะไรเงี้ยตามอีเวนต์อะไรอย่างเงี้ย
แล้วแบบเป็นสถานที่อะค่ะแบบคุณเคยเห็นเขาขายอะเคยมีสินค้านี้ขายที่ไหนบ้างเป็นแหล่ง
ไม่เคยเห็นขายเคยแบบได้แจกมาแต่ไม่รู้ซื้อที่ไหน
อ๋อโอเคขอบคุณค่ะเราผ่านไปแล้ว4คนแต่ยังไม่มีใครตอบแก๊ปเลยเราไปหาทาร์เก็ตต่อไปกันเลยดีกว่าป้าโอเคสวัสดีค่ะขอสัมภาษณ์อะไรนิดนึงได้ไหมคะ โอเคเวลาคุณเห็นสินค้าเนี้ยคุณนึกถึงแบรนด์ใดเป็นแบรนด์แรกคะ
ป๊อกกี้
ป๊อกกี้กันหมดเลยแล้วเวลาเราพูดชื่อแก๊ปเนี่ยเราจะนึกถึงสินค้าอะไรบ้างเวลาพูดชื่อแก๊ป
เสื้อผ้า
แบรนด์เสื้อผ้าร
องเท้าร
องเท้าเสื้อผ้ารองเท้างั้นเราจะโชว์โปรดักต์หนึ่งให้ทุกคนดูมันเป็นโปรดักต์ชื่อว่าแก๊ปเคยเห็นกันไหมเคยเห็นไหมไม่เคยงั้นก็แบบไม่เคยเห็นสินค้านี้วางขายอยู่ที่ไหนสักแห่งเลยเหรอเคยปะ
เหมือนในเซเว่นค่ะ
ในเซเว่น
เหมือนเคยเห็นผ่าน
ผ่านแต่แบบไม่ค่อยมีเนาะโอเคขอบคุณมากค่ะบ๊ายบายโอเคจนมาถึงกลุ่มเมื่อกี้เราก็ยังไม่ได้คำตอบแก๊ปสักทีนะคะเราลองไปหากลุ่มต่อไปกันเลยดีกว่านู่นอยู่กลุ่มตรงนู้นกำลังทำงานกันพอดีเลยมาขอนิดนึงฮัลโหลสวัสดีทุกคนนี่กำลังทำอะไรกันอยู่เอ่ย
เจนจีโอครับ
พรีเซนติ้งงั้นขอสัมภาษณ์แป๊บหนึ่งนะโอเคมาเวลาทุกคนเนี่ยเวลาทุกคนเห็นสินค้าเนี้ยทุกคนนึกถึงแบรนด์อะไรเป็นแบรนด์แรก
ป๊อกกี้เลย
ป๊อกกี้เอางี้งั้นถ้าเกิดเราพูดถึงแก๊ปเนี่ยแก๊ปเวลาเราพูดถึงแก๊ปทุกคนนึกถึงสินค้าอะไรบ้างเอ่ยเสื้อผ้าหมวกเสื้อผ้าหมวกกับเสื้อผ้างั้นอันสุดท้ายเราจะโชว์โปรดักต์ที่ชื่อว่าแก๊ปให้ทุกคนดูนะคะอันนี้ทุกคนเคยเห็นเขาแบบวางขายกันที่ไหนบ้างเอ่ยเคยเห็นปะ
ไม่เคยเลยนะร้านไม่เคย
อ๋อร้านขายร้านโชว์หวยที่โรงเรียนโอเคขอบคุณทุกคนมากค่ะขอบคุณค่ะบายเมื่อกี้เราอยู่กันข้างล่างหาคนสัมภาษณ์กันตั้งนานเราก็ยังไม่เจอใครตอบว่าแก๊ปสักทีตอนนี้เราขึ้นมากันตรงที่ student area ไปหาคนที่จะตอบคำว่าแก๊ปกันเลยดีกว่าขอสัมภาษณ์อะไรนิดนึงได้ไหมคะโอเคเห็นสินค้านี้ไหมคะอันนี้เวลาเราเห็นเนี่ยขนมแบบเนี้ยเรานึกถึงแบรนด์อะไรเป็นอันดับแรกคะ
ป๊อกกี้ค่ะ
ป๊อกกี้งั้นเวลาเราพูดถึงแก๊ปเนี่ยเวลาพูดถึงชื่อแก๊ปแล้วเราจะนึกถึงสินค้าอะไรเอ่ย
หมวกแก๊ปค่ะ
หมวกแก๊ปหมวกแก๊ปโอเคงั้นเราจะให้คุณดูสินค้าตัวหนึ่งที่ชื่อว่าแก๊ปเคยเห็นไหม
ไม่เคยค่ะ
ไม่เคยเหมือนเคยเห็นตอนนี้แล้วตอนเด็กๆเคยกินไหมเคยเจอแบบที่ไหนบ้างไหม
ไม่แน่ใจค่ะลืมไปแล้วค่ะ
โอเคขอบคุณมากแก๊ปอยู่ไหนนะอุ้ยขอโทษนะคะท่านผู้ชมงั้นมันไม่มีแก๊ปเลยเดี๋ยวเราไปขอสัมภาษณ์กับเจ้าของร้านกันเลยดีกว่าสวัสดีค่ะขอสัมภาษณ์อะไรนิดนึงนะคะ
ได้ค่ะ
คือว่าถ้าเกิดคุณเห็นขนมชิ้นนี้แล้วคุณนึกถึงแบรนด์อะไรเป็นอันดับแรกเป็นอันดับแรกป๊อกกี้
ของฟรีก่อนหรือเปล่าคะ
ป๊อกกี้ใช่ไหมโอเคแล้วถ้าเกิดสมมุติหนูพูดถึงชื่อแก๊ปอะค่ะแล้วคุณจะนึกถึงสินค้าอะไรบ้างคะ
แก๊ปเป็นเสื้อหรือเปล่าคะ
เสื้อผ้า
แก๊ปหรือเปล่าคะ
แบรนด์เสื้อผ้า
หรือเปล่า
โอเคค่ะอันนี้เราจะมาให้คุณดูสินค้าเป็นเหมือนป๊อกกี้เลยค่ะแต่ชื่อแก๊ปค่ะคุณพอเคยคุ้นแบรนด์นี้บ้างไหมคะเคยเห็นที่ไหนบ้างเอ่ย
จริงๆนะคะเคยเห็นแวบๆค่ะแต่ว่ายังไม่ค่อยอยู่ในความสนใจเท่าไหร่
อย่าง
ส่วนใหญ่น้องๆที่นี่ค่ะก็จะแบบเลือกผลิตภัณฑ์ที่แบบว่าเป็นที่รู้จักเป็นที่นิยมมากกว่าแต่ว่าอันนี้พี่ไม่เคยเห็นจริงๆแต่ว่าถ้ามันสมมติว่ามันรสชาติดีหรือว่ามีการโปรโมทเนี่ยน่าจะน่าสนใจนะคะ
โอเคเลยค่ะขอบคุณมากค่ะขอบคุณมากค่ะผลจากการทำสำรวจนะคะทำให้เราสรุปได้ว่าแก๊ปมี3ปัญหาหลักๆดังนี้ 1. แก๊ปจะมีปัญหาเรื่องแบรนด์อิมเมจเพราะว่าเวลาเราโชว์ขนมให้คนที่เราไปสัมภาษณ์ดูคนส่วนใหญ่จะตอบกลับมาว่าเป็นป๊อกกี้มากกว่าเป็นแก๊ปปัญหาที่2คือปัญหา positioning เวลาเราพูดถึงชื่อแก๊ป คนส่วนใหญ่ก็จะตอบเป็นแบรนด์เสื้อผ้าเป็นแบรนด์เครื่องแต่งกายมากกว่าจะเป็นแบรนด์ขนมอย่างแก๊ปตัวนี้นะคะแล้วก็ปัญหาสุดท้ายคือปัญหา distribution ผลจากการทำสำรวจทำให้เราทราบว่าแก๊ปไม่สิน Product ของแก๊ปไม่ค่อยเข้าถึงการตลาดเยอะเท่าไหร่อย่างเช่นพวกร้าน7-Eleven ร้านค้าสะดวกซื้อแล้วก็ตามห้างทั่วไปนะคะมีคนส่วนน้อยจะตอบกลับมาว่าเคยเห็นแก๊ปนี้ตามแค่ร้านค้าโชว์หวย
Hey everyone, this is Group 6 in the building, and this is going to be our brand evaluation of Gap. And no, we're not talking about the clothing company.
So what we're talking about today?
So we're going to be talking about the snack Gap that people like to not know what it is.
What is Gap, by the way?
So it's like Pocky. See, I had to compare with Pocky to let you know what it is, and that's the problem. So the first thing that comes to people's mind when they hear the word Gap is a clothing company, which is why we had to assure with you that no, we're not talking about that. So through our statistics of asking people what Gap is, 80% of them thought we're talking about the clothing company. And, you know, because we're in Thailand and Gap is like how they pronounce. So I went and asked someone, so what do you think about Gap? And they thought I was talking about Grab Taxi.
Well, next, let's take a look at the manufacturer's background of the United Food Company Limited. The company established on February 26, 1975, first produced a wafer product line in a small factory located in Charanakon. They recently expanded their company by increasing the product line to meet the consumer need. The company currently has 8 product lines that are certified by the GMP Food and Drug Organization. Next, let's take a look at the company missions and vision. The company states the mission statement that we aim to make our customers satisfied with our delicious, new and good quality products. They are also safe and ethical as the owner continues to collectively learn as a whole. Next is the vision statement. The company states that our product is one of the 3 leading competition in the market.
So this is the blind experiment. The flavor I chose is chocolate because most people eat the chocolate flavor, and it is the most original one. Comparing to Pocky, the scent of the cocoa in Gap is stronger and the taste is more bitter. The chocolate texture is not that much of creamy. The biscuit is very crunchy, but its lack of aroma. The overall of texture and scent make people think that they use low quality ingredient to make this snack. And for the method of the experiment, first I put Pocky and Gap into glasses and write a random number for each of glasses, like 4793 for Pocky and 1628 for Gap, because to prevent the stereotyping. And then I asked people around my condominium who passed by to taste both Pocky and Gap and ask for feedback and review, and then record in the paper.
So in addition to the blind test experiment, we'll be doing a product assessment of the Gap's packaging in terms of the food label. So in this picture I provided in the PowerPoint slide, there is a picture of Gap on the side where you can see the food label. So there seems to be a problem on the packaging, and as you can see, the font size is too small, and it could negatively affect the attention span of the customer and their engagement, which could affect the brand preference, and they could wind up looking for a different brand with a better food label. So why is this a problem? Because people are starting to become more health conscious, and they are starting to consider the composition of the snack. So in comparison to Pocky's label, it's clear and it's in bold, and it puts emphasis on the fats, the carbohydrates, the cholesterol, and everything, which is easier to read and easier to comprehend. So just for your information about the brand and the manufacturer, taken from the website itself. So Gap is one of the 8 product lines in the company. And there are more than 10 unique flavors. And before moving on to the research method, we'll be doing 3 propositions. 1 is to redesign the packaging. 2, change the market segment. And 3, minimize unique flavors to satisfy consumer needs. So in the following slides, we'll be elaborating on our methods as a means of acquiring data and information.
So next for the procedure, we choose online survey first. And the online survey, like we establish INJ, like introduce and distribute to like many people as much as we can. And they're overall more than 80% from MUIC and plus additional people from outside MUIC. And the age is range from 20 to 25 years old, and there's also like some adults like 40 years old. And there are males and females. Question and objectives. We have multiple choice. We have image association. Talk about like gap. What's the product that's come first in their mind, and we found out that the first thing that they don't know what gap is, and so our procedure like focused first mainly on brand identifications. So the concept we learned from Ajahn that there are 4 stages of like to build brand awareness. So first, Gap doesn't popular like in the market yet. So we have to like consider brand identification to be the first part to develop.
So why did we choose to do online survey as opposed to any different methods? So first and foremost, it can be accessed at any place at any time, as long as you have internet, which makes it really convenient and covers a wide coverage of samples. So we managed to get over 70 samples, almost 80 in fact, which is easy in a matter of 3 days. And it's highly convenient for people who can't go to interviews, which will be talked about later on. And the fact that it's a qualitative data makes it easier to manage and easier to analyze. So that's a good stuff, but there are some disadvantages. And the first one being that the participants are anonymous, and the data provided could be misleading and insufficient because it consists of multiple choice questions and short answer questions, and people can't elaborate on the detail and ideas. And that's one thing. And the answers could be highly subjective and inconsiderate because people just want to get it over with and they just want to get the survey done. So it's inaccurate.
We collect the primary data by using the public interview method. And first, we choose the just mean swapping. We choose this because the interviewee have more credibility and they are able to give out the accurate and clear and considerate answer to us. And so we got 20 people and 19 people MUIC students, and 1 is the sale ready. And we asked them 3 questions. So the first question is that which brand that you think of when you see this product? Look at this chart, and 90% of the interviewee saying that they say just Gap, like this. And the second question we ask that when talking about Gap, which comes to your mind, and over 80% of the focus interviewee says that Gap is like a clothing brand. Yeah. And the final, when we search for the Gap in Google, and this is the result from research. This course, snack but not the Gap, and like a net idol. So, and the final question that we ask them is that where did you see the Gap product? Look at this, 65% of the interviewee said that they never see that before. So that's why these 3 questions show the problem of the Gap company.
So now, the methodology that we used for our interview was a public interview. And there are advantages and disadvantages to every strategy that we use in interviews. So now let's talk about the advantages and disadvantages of the public interview. The good thing about it is fun and creative, and there's lots of customer engagement because you can build a personal relation while you're asking your question, so that gives a depth to the question that you ask. And because you can also get elaborative details because you can always follow up with the people. And the reason we chose for it to be judgment sampling is because we can see the personality of the people and then approach them. And sometimes, a lot of times, like how we learn in marketing class, many people, they do not like advertisements. And we have experienced it in our MUIC campus as well, when the B&B crew comes and asks people, hey, do you want cookies? And sometimes it makes people really uncomfortable. So we like to not pressurize people to give out answers. That way, if you do that, they'll have little or no preparation. And we prefer people to have preparation. So that way, the information that they give is not compromised.
For this section, I will tell you that why, what problem that Gap face, which make them not share high market, not get a high market share. So the first problem is about brand image. So when you think about flavor, course, biscuit, stick, what brand that come to your mind first? And from our survey, it's like 85% of people say that it is Pocky, although the product that we show to them is Gap product. And another 12% is product from Kuliko, which is also Pocky manufacturer. And we can see that it's only 1% of people say that it is Gap product. And from this survey, we found that Gap has a weak brand image, because people always notice Gap product as Pocky product. And Gap has difficulty in establishing product awareness, and brand is really unrecognizable by the mass. And next problem is about product offer. So which of these are the most important to you when deciding a purchase? Flavor, price, or accessibility? And we have done the survey and we found that 68.8% concerned about the flavor the most. Next is price and accessibility. And we can see that flavor is the most important factor that made people buy the product. And from this survey, we found that Gap has unsolved flavor, because Gap product has a flavor that similar to Pocky product, such as chocolate, strawberry. But what makes Gap unique is orange flavor. But it's really not that famous in the market. And people do not buy orange Gap flavor. And what flavor Gap is known for? What is the best seller? What is the best seller for Gap product? Is chocolate and strawberry. But as I said before, that Pocky also have these two flavors as the best seller also, so that people will notice Gap as a Pocky product.
In this section, we'll be focusing on the survey. So which classic flavor are you most likely to buy? So in the previous slide, Bas explained that the customers are more likely to look at the flavor as opposed to any different aspect of the brand itself. And we know as a fact that Pocky is known for its flavors, classic flavors such as chocolate and strawberry. But like what Bas said in the previous slide, what is Gap known for in terms of the flavor? So in this section, we'll be looking at the problems. One of them being that Gap offers the same flavor as Pocky, which is strawberry and chocolate. And since Pocky is known for its classic flavor, people can conceive Gap as a copycat of Pocky, which can damage the brand image. So in this case, we have to differentiate ourselves, Gap, from its competitors like Pocky. So from the survey, 66% of the people voted that they would most likely buy chocolate if they were to buy a biscuit stick from a market, and 20% being strawberry. And the problem with Gap is that they offer the same product as Pocky.
Okay, for the distribution part, so the survey we asked the question is to ask people which place they prefer to buy the product. So the result was, you can see the red one, 68% prefer to buy the products from convenience store. And the least one, the blue one, you can see they're less likely to prefer to buy at a wholesaler market. So since Gap can be found in like local markets, so we should like my suggestion is to produce to extend our market to in more convenience store. And another problem is like Gap have no shelf positioning. So in 7-Eleven, so one of the strategy is to put Gap into like the counter shelf, so people can like more see the products. And this is the case like for Thao Kẻ Nói. Thao Kẻ Nói is the case that when they start penetrate the products to the 7-Eleven, they use this strategy to increase the sale. So when people see a lot of product in the counter service shelf, so they can like perceive more about the brand. They have more brand awareness about the Gap, and yeah, they can know that this brand exists in the market. So when people come to next time, they tend to like buy this product more, and they can like have some promotions like in the shelf, like have more buy one free one or something, like have more promotions, so people can like immediately buy the product. And yeah, that's how to distribute the product as much as possible.
As Con previously mentioned, one of the problems that Gap has is shelf positioning. So when people walk into 7-Eleven or Family Mart, they cannot find Gap. So one way to solve this is by increasing brand awareness. And this is when you let other people know of your brands and products' existence. So when you ask people, how much effort are you willing to into buying this type of product, Gap? So for the purchase effort, more than 50% of people already know what they want. So when they walk into 7-Eleven, they already decided, okay, I'm gonna buy Gap, probably a couple of Oreos, Slurpee, and sandwich. And there are other factors that have an equal proportion as well, which we'll be discussing about now. So the problems is there is less brand exposure. So we can fix that when we fix the shelf positioning issue. And we have more solutions that we will apply, and you see that later on in this video. And there's little brand preference, and Gap has little to no chance of being noticed by the consumers, which we have to fix as well. As we have all listed the problems that we have occurred that Gap should solve, we're going to recommend and advise Gap to change their segment. And this is important to do it if they want to succeed in this industry in the long term. So we're going to use the SWOT analysis for this, which is the strength, weakness, opportunities, and threats. One of the strengths that Gap has is they offer a variety of unique flavors. For example, like how Bass was talking, the orange flavor. And they're also affordable. Like one package is for 5 baht, and that's pretty good. And we also get good scent of cocoa from that. So it kind of shows that there is good quality in the Gap. They just need to market it right. And the opportunities, because of the different flavors that they have, they can extend to new market segments. But there's a weakness though, and that is the weak brand image, which we seriously have to fix. And the unsought for flavors, orange. This can actually be argued upon, but I believe it's unsought for because it's not marketed right. Like how we saw, or I previously showed in the Google search, when we were searching for the Gap orange, it just didn't show up. You would see clothes and other stuff, but not Gap. So maybe people just don't know about it because there's already no proper shelf positioning. So that makes sense. Now the threats, there'll obviously be strong competition from other brands in the same segment like Pocky. And this may damage brand image because it might make Gap look like a copy of Pocky. That's why, like how Jay mentioned, they have to change their packaging. Okay, so now we're going to be proposing our targeting strategy. So the first price, we'll keep it the same. The reason we'll keep price the same is because if we bring it more costly right now, people might not even want to buy Gap because they're already interested in buying Pocky. So they'll be like, Pocky is already so popular. I never tried Gap. Is it worth investing a lot more money in buying a snack, which I never tried before, which also already looks like a cheap copy? So no, we can do it in the long term, and me and Jay will be talking about it. So now for the product, some product, keep the same product but implement different identity. So that way we can have measurable differences to different segments. Like for example, if we do different kinds of packaging for kids, we can get a different segment over there because we are targeting kids. And we can do another kind of targeting for educated people. Because, you know, educated people, they know that it looks like a copy of Pocky, but when you change it and make it look a bit more premium, it will look more costly, and we can change the labeling of nutrients, nutrition, and everything. So people who are health conscious, who also fall in the educated category, will be more attracted to buying Gap. And promotion, different segments will have different benefits. So we can apply different promotions for the kids and different promotion for the educated people. Like for kids, you'll have superheroes, right? And as I previously talked about it, we can include gift tokens and everything inside for the kids. And for the place, okay, the thing is, because in the place where we're already targeting for kids, the segment of kids are already large enough. Because usually when people buy snacks, it is mostly kids compared to adults, so it would make sense for us to target kids. And obviously when we choose a segment, it is already going to get cut down because we cannot guarantee that everyone in that segment is going to buy a Gap, but we can get an estimate. So we have to admit that even after we segment kids, it'll get smaller because not every kid wants to buy Gap, but it will increase chances of Gap being bought. 6 is back in the building. Say hi.
Hi.
So, as you've seen in our video, we have done multiple interviews and conducted a lot of research to see
Interviews and surveys.
Yeah, to see what people think about Gap. But there is one problem.
No one knows about Gap, and that's the only problem we have.
And we're gonna apply and we're gonna apply our solutions now. So
let's get to it.
Let's get into the reasons why Gap need new segments. In order to compete or succeed in the market, Gap first need to be different. And the second, Gap needs to create productive and attractive products. And the last one is Gap needs to create loyalty to the brand. So let's get into the background, some background of Gap. We do brand positioning, and what we found out is we divided 2 dimensions, from low product depth to high product depth, and low brand awareness to high brand awareness. So from these 2 dimensions, there are main 5 companies, which is Gap, Pocky, Tilly, Topo, and Tiki. So we can see Pocky ranked the first highest, and there it has highest product depth and brand awareness. So compared to, and the second of the high brand awareness is Tilly, and this because we went to 7-Eleven and we found that there's Tilly products on the shelf, but we couldn't see Gap in the shelf. So we ranked this Tilly as a, like very high brand awareness. And for the Gap, they have 13 flavors, but the low brand awareness. And for other competitors, Tiki and Topo, we barely see in the convenience store, 7-Eleven or other like shops where. And actually for this, we can see the strength of Gap is like they have 13 flavors, but actually people just only know about chocolate. And there are not that many perception about the flavors of Gaps. So from my perspective, like there's my favorite flavor for Gap is like orange. And our group have decided, the majority of my group decide to Gap orange flavor is like is the best one. And I think orange can compete rather than Pocky.
So as we can see over here, Gap and Pocky, they're the main competitors, and Gap has the second highest number of flavors, while Pocky has the highest. But the problem over here, we can already see that Gap has low brand awareness compared to others in the market. Not the lowest, but it can be improved upon. And that is why our final evaluation is they need to change their market segment. So, one of the suggestions we have is to change the way the place channel is implemented. And we'll give both a short-term strategy and a long-term strategy. But a common misconception that people have about the long-term strategy is making the snack available in major cities is wrong and they should avoid it. And major cities, because they already have bigger brands like Tivoli and Topo, they as in Gap has weak brand image, so they cannot compete, and it will not help with brand awareness because people already know what to buy. Yes, that is right in the short term, but in the long term, because people are already gonna be passing Gap anyway, it will start being applicable because they already see, after we do proper shelf positioning, they'll see Gap and they'll know the existence of the brand. And because we'll have a different design by then already for kids and different design already in labeling and packaging for the educated people, it already make an impression by them. So it's already a form of advertising without actually advertising. So for the short term, no, but long term, yes, because the brand awareness has been executed effectively and everyone knows about Gap. So there's nothing to lose in the long term.
The market position of Gap between its competitors such as Pocky, Tivoli, Tiki, and Topo, and then the long-term and short-term distribution Atit explained. So let's look at the details in which we're going to be proposing in terms of the difference from the market. And I'll let Minnie do the explanation.
Three main things people care about is the packaging, flavor, and the food labels. As you can see from the slide, so the suggestion is if you want to sell a product for kids, you might have a trending cartoon in the packaging such as Pokemon or Spider-Man or Minions. And for the flavor, we can promote a new flavor so people want to try a new thing. And for the food labels, as parents, as is the person who buy snack for kids, they consider for the health for their kids. And I think the food label should be bigger so parents can read and more trustable to the snack.
Thank you, Minnie, for the explanation. Now we're moving on to the product development strategy. So for this one, we're trying to promote unsought flavors such as orange. And what I mean by unsought is that people are aware of the product, but they're not desiring the product itself because they don't know how it tastes like. So how are we gonna improve this for the brand image? So number one, we have to add additional flavors to the packaging, in addition to the classic flavor. So for example, if you buy chocolate, we're gonna include an extra packet of a different flavor. This way, we can promote the new flavors without spending too much on adverts. So customers are aware of the new flavors, but they don't have the chance to taste it. So this is the best way to do it. And the second one is provide free samples of new flavors, but not just from buying the packaging, but from having like freebies or promotional adverts in convenience stores or in shopping malls. So for the concept art of the packaging, so the components consist of the actual box, and then at the back of the packaging will be the packet of the orange flavor. We talked about the product development strategy in the previous slide. We're talking about the price, and it's an interesting case in terms of price perception analysis. So taken from a survey, people care about the price. 48% people care about the price. So they think that high price means high quality. And then the other 45% says that it's not relevant. So it doesn't matter whether it's high or low price. So from the analysis, we think that if we increase the price for Gap, it could probably favor the quality itself. But it doesn't necessarily compete with Pocky, because brand image is more important than anything else, from what we've learned so far. And then the irrelevance of price could mean that we can maintain the price range of Gap itself, my bad. So we don't have to change the price we can maintain the price range for Gap.
Which is why we believe that increasing the price will kind of make it feel like it has a premium value to it, which is why we feel that if we want to target a segment, increasing price might not be effective to kids. So we have like the superhero one for kids, we should try to keep the price low, because in the end of the day, when kids get their money in allowance, it is the parents who give it to them, and parents will obviously try to teach kids about financial management and stuff like that in a small age, so they do not expect kids to spend that much on snacks. But for the educated people that we're targeting, because you're already making the packaging more premium anyway, increasing the price up will be relevant to them. So that's why we can apply these statistics differently to the different segments that we are targeting. So that will help us compete with our competition better.
So that's right.
So now that we talk about how important brand awareness is and why we need to execute it, we're going to tell you how to execute it and different steps that we can have. So this whole time we're emphasizing so much on shelf positioning, right? But we also want you to realize that there are other ways too. And one of them will be the online channel, which is so effective these days because there's so many businesses today that don't work offline, but once they go online, it helps them reach various different segments. For example, unique visitors. Once you create an online page, you can sort of select what kind of visitors you want to target, and you don't choose who comes to your page. So anyone who might come might end up being a unique visitor. And new visitors, already covered. Direct visitors, like I said, you can choose. Audience shares. When people like what you post, for example, when we're going to be doing superheroes ones, they can be I share, I care, or you can get a code and get a free Gap, but that's just brainstorming. It won't be that effective, I guess, personally. But another way you can share is maybe you put some funny online content or a add-on comic, like how cereal boxes have at the back. Kids will like it and they can share it in their Facebook page. And followers, definitely you use SEO marketing, search engine optimization, so you can write blogs and everything online and people search for anything that might relate to the keyword and it will show up.
So now that we talked about developing the product, the packaging and stuff in terms of promoting the flavor, we're going to be looking at how are we going to target this new product to a new market. So let's look at the next slide.
But also, one more thing we'd like to add is attractive marketing does not just mean making the packaging attractive. It just means making it professional and efficient to the customers, consumers in general.
So for this particular slide, we're going to be comparing Gap. We're going to be comparing the same concept with a brand called Campus. Now it's very familiar to young kids because Campus is known for giving out free toys in addition to their snacks. So for example, in this image provided, the brand itself provides coins, cards of famous cartoons such as Dragon Ball Z or Pokemon. So it's obvious that we're going to be promoting this product, same concept to Gap, to younger kids between age 6 to 12. So what are the objectives? To attract non-users of Gap currently, to increase the market share, and to adapt to new trends.
And I can give my personal experience as a kid myself. As a kid, I used to love buying Campus snacks. I actually did not know the name that time. See, it shows that even after not knowing the name of the snack, I still went as far as to buy it just so I could get the free Dragon Ball Z cards. And I was older than 12 that time. I was probably 14. So it kind of shows that yes, kids outside this age demographic can be interested too, and it also shows that secondly, you do not even need to know about Gap to be interested in it. So this shows how effective this method can be.
And Campus is known for giving out free toys. So it's a fact that kids would buy the brand not because of the snack, but because of the toy itself. So it can also be a market penetration strategy because we're promoting this product for attention. And by redesigning the packaging in according to the current trend. So for example, last year was Pokemon Go, right? Maybe we can incorporate that idea to the packaging to attract new users, particularly the young kids. And again, the objective is to increase the market share and to increase brand awareness, which could be a solution to our problem.
Okay, as we talk about how to improve the market share of the Gap, so I kind of have more idea about how to penetrate the market. So since we start with to attract the kids. The new segment is about the kids. So the kids love to play games, right? And we have done some research about the game in Thailand. So you can see here, in Southeast Asia, in 2016, the growth of the mobile games or the online games in Thailand growth over 22% per year. And according to AppLead 2015, there were over 13.8 million mobile players in Thailand out of smartphone base of 20 million and a total population of 67 million. So we can see the growth of online games and mobile games in Thailand is growing every year. So we kind of use this information to adjust our strategy to market gap production. And the concept market penetration, we learned from Ajahn that horizontal integration. So it's about how different industry join together. So here Gap company is about snack company, and our concept is to cooperate with the game companies. The top trends games company in Thailand, for example, ROV or Pokemon Go's or the famous game in Line. And here we can attract the Gap buyers to, like, when they buy the products, they can get the QR code and scan to at some points in the game. So this can attract more consumers in buying Gap products. So at the end, they will increase market share a lot, because now trend of the online games is keep growing and rising. And so this strategy could be worked. So the last strategy, we need to reinforce the brand loyalty. So as I talk about how to create attractiveness to the kids. So we use the cartoon, animation, superheroes to attract the kids. So what can you think of rather than cartoon or superheroes?
Well, other than cartoons and superheroes, there are many other things that we can do, like Hot Wheels, that's cars. I wouldn't count that as a cartoon or superheroes. It can just be toys in general or whatever is currently popular in the trend. And since we did not just give just short-term recommendations, but long-term proposals as well, and what can happen and the possibilities that we have, one can be that if Gap wants to expand in the international market, we can adapt to cartoons locally. Not just international cartoons like how we see in Cartoon Network, but maybe Korean cartoons, Japanese anime and manga, which is actually really popular among kids over here in Thailand. So we can incorporate anime characters into it. We wouldn't count it as cartoon because cartoon is more of a Western thing.
Okay, apart from talking about cartoon, superhero, or games to attract the kids, apart from that, what do you think of, like, rather than games or superheroes, to build brand awareness, to build brand loyalty, like how to make the kids come back and buy again?
We can be targeting their interest. Some kids are interested in cars, so we can have something, for example, like Hot Wheels on the packaging or something like that. Because we have to realize that different demographics actually have their own subcultures. So, like, being interested in Hot Wheels can be part of the subculture, for example. So once we provide something like that, the customers in general, they have more of a personal connection with our product, because we are a form of their expression. They can feel and relate to it. And we cannot just do this in Bangkok too, but we can do this abroad as well. And this is part of the process called localization, when the global market, we adapt to the local culture. So for example, if we want to go to Korea, we can adapt to Korean cartoons or whatever is currently on trend with the Korean kids at the moment.
So do you have any ideas, like, to build brand advocacy, like how to make students become, like, more support in your brand, like insist in your brand, support your brand? Do you have any ideas?
This is actually very simple, but it's often overlooked in the business world. Just target and attract them with what they're interested in, like how I previously said. Because if your packaging has something kids are interested in, they won't just see it as, oh hey, I want to eat this snack. They'll say like, oh, I like that cartoon, I'm a fan of it. It's like, I'm not just eating the snack, but I'm doing something that's related to my favorite cartoon as well.
Yeah.
Or what I'm interested in, hobbies in general. Yeah.
That's to make kids more interested too in buying products. But yeah, they can support the products, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So we can create brand loyalty by doing this.
Yeah, so because of that, they're not just supporting Gap, but also the things that they like. So it's more like brand association.
So now that we talked about everything about Gap and then the brand awareness, all about the strategies and everything, the problems, now we're going to be moving on to the conclusion. So it all comes down to this question. Is all the research possible? And for one, does Gap have enough budget, or the manufacturer does have enough budget to actually be able to establish or implement these types of research in order to find out more about the market segment? And number two, can the manufacturer be adaptive to the current trends? Are they going to be able to work with new brands in order to reach a new market segment as a way of increasing market share? And the last point, will they be able to defend their market share and maximize profit after they've done this, after they've developed the product, after
The main objective, the solution to change Gap image, to increase the market share, is to change the product, change packaging, and change brand awareness, improve brand awareness to attract the kids. We kind of focus on a new segment, which is the kids. So could attract more with the strategy of using cartoon, games, and superheroes to attract the kids. And yeah.
So to sum it up, Group 6, our group, came up with various proposals, strategies, and ways to implement the problems that we saw in this Gap case. Our group genuinely sees a lot of potential in United Food and cares about them, and we actually feel like our proposals and creativity that we use will be effective, because we're not just looking as customers, but from the manager's perspective as well. Group 6 in general, alright, 10, Bas, Minnie, Corn, Jay, and me, we kind of feel like this is good. Alright, that was whack, but okay.